I remember the days I was staying up at least once a week through the entire night. So once a week, I pulled all-nighters. It was like the college days when you had a big test, but worse because it was a cycle you couldn't get out of. I had started my business by charging a monthly fee for consulting. So they paid me per month and I would give them all this work. I thought, wow, I'm so rich. I remember the first paycheck I ever got. I took a picture of myself. I was still in my bathrobe. I was like, Kyle, look at this paycheck. It was awesome. But then I realized that once I got that paycheck, every moment thereafter, I was trying to earn it over and over and over at the detriment of many hours. And when I really broke it down, I realized that I was really not making that much. So what saved my business from the get-go was tracking my time, realizing how much time I was putting in to earn that $500,000, $1,500 paycheck. The one that I felt so rich with when I first received it, but felt so poor after I broke it down per hours. I'm Shanna Skidmore. I'm a business strategist, financial coach. This is part 2 of a 3-part series where I'm telling you more about my story and how I built a 6-figure business with less than 5,000 Instagram followers. How I, as a coach, but how you, as a creative entrepreneur, can do that too. As a florist, a photographer, a wedding planner, a stylist, a food stylist, a graphic designer, a brand designer, an interior designer, all companies I've worked with. Flower farmers, magazine editors, all creative companies that I see have the potential to make over 6 figures with less than 5,000 Instagram followers. It's about cutting the clutter, getting out all the should do's in our business, and I want to tell you the things that I've seen happen because that's my mission. That's what I've done for the last 7 years. I've worked with creative entrepreneurs and teaching them how to build profitable, sustainable, life-enriching businesses. I call this lifestyle entrepreneurship. Not lifestyle in the sense that I'm sharing with you my shirt that I'm wearing, my hair products, not that kind of lifestyle, but lifestyle in the sense that you want a great life before you want a great business. One always has to do with the other. And when it comes back to a lot, our systems. How do you create a sustainable business, a business built to last, one that enriches your life instead of taking away from it? Like you, most of us get into business because of something we love. For me, I stumbled upon this calling really in a very organic way. I never set out to be a business strategist or consultant. I didn't even know what that meant. I always said if I could sit down and have coffee with women and talk about life, that was what I would want my job to be. Can you get paid to do that? Yeah, kind of what I do now. It's so funny. It wasn't something I made it and here's the plan to get there. It just happened organically. But what happens when we build something organically or we do it out of passion? Oftentimes the systems come second. The money comes third. And it really creates where we we're drowning. Have you ever felt that way? You started something because you love it and you say yes and you say yes and you say yes and you say yes and then you say yes and then you're like, I'm tired. I'm so tired and I'm not seeing my family and I'm not making money, and is it even worth it? So how do we stop the cycle? How do we stop the all-nighters? For me, it took about 6 months of doing this. I was getting paid and I was trying to earn this paycheck, and I realized that this isn't going to work. And I can't keep trying to earn this paycheck and working more hours. I needed a system. I gained 15 pounds because I was eating saltine crackers and Diet Coke at 3 a.m. to keep myself awake. My sweet husband was so supportive, but I knew that this cannot happen. I'm very passionate about marriages and very passionate about marriages in the creative community, and I would love to see us choose our families again. So here's some systems that I learned and that I share with my clients that have really made a huge difference. First and foremost, we have to know what's included in our services and what is not, down to the detail. If you've never written out your client process or your production process from start to finish, this is where you need to start. So how do I hire you? That's step one. So write down from start to finish what it looks like for somebody to hire you. So it might look like something like this. They inquire on my website. I send them a media kit or an information packet back. Is your pricing on there? Is it not on there? Do you have a meeting with them in person? Do you get on the phone with them? How do they book you? What's your client contract look like? What is the process from start to finish? How do I pay you? What's the percentage of the deposit? Write it down. It feels tedious, but I promise you, when you write it down, that's how you create a streamlined system. Albert Einstein says never memorize anything that you can look up. This is how I think about my client process. I never just want to memorize the steps. I never want to think, okay, did I send them the media kit back? I can't remember. Let me search through my emails and see. I never want to do this, but instead create a checklist for every time. How do we create a checklist and streamline that process so we don't have to remember every single step? And aren't you tired of always wondering, did I forget something? Yes, it's so stressful. So we want to do that first for our client process. Every single step by step by step, create a streamlined system. Same on the back end. Once they become a client and you have to produce something for them, whether that's a product you're producing or a custom piece, or if it's some kind of service you're doing, what are all the steps on the back end? Step by step by step, from the start to the finish. And when are you finished? That's actually a very key question. If you don't know what finished looks like, chances are that you're just going to keep working and working and working and working, trying to earn that paycheck they're sending you. So really know, what is my finish point? What's included? What's not included? Now that's a big question, and something I actually take through my consulting program, the Blueprint Model. Every Blueprint alum goes through step by step with me to create that systemized and streamlined process. This is just a jump start for you. Write those things down. Oftentimes I see people hire too quickly into a chaotic system. So I would say systemizing and streamlining is step number one. From there, you might outsource those things. Where can you find somebody to do that work for you to save time? This might be an editor or a virtual assistant. There's steps in the process that can be outsourced. And only after you've systemized and outsourced do you want to hire, typically into these processes. So first and foremost, streamline. How can you find inefficiencies and redundancies? It might seem tedious, but mark it on your calendar. I promise you, creating a streamlined system, writing it down and creating a checklist is going to save you a lot of time. This was so helpful for me when I first started to establish the done point. If you're somebody like me that got paid a set amount, it was really crazy. Again, I was trying to earn that paycheck. I kept doing more and more and more until I felt like I had done enough. It really helped me to say, this is what's included, this is what's not included, and here is when I'm done. Great done point. Another big thing that I see people do a lot is this idea of an ideal day, an ideal week, an ideal month. Well, I can't have that because all my days look differently and I'm doing different things. I'm going on walkthroughs, or I'm doing an event, or maybe I don't have an event. Every day looks different. So how do I create an ideal day? Well, I actually think about it a little differently. I sit down and ask myself, how much do I want to be working? Do I want to work 3 days a week, 4 days a week, 6 days a week? I want to ask myself, how many hours do I have in a day? And we create like a bank of hours. So if I only have 12 hours a week, then I've got to choose where those hours are spent. Oftentimes we say yes, 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 yes to good opportunities, yes to things, but we never know if our time bank, our amount of time, has any currency left. Do I have any time left? So it feels so often like we're always behind. Do you hate that feeling? I'm always behind. I can't catch up. Why am I always feeling behind? And really, it's because you've probably never sat down and evaluated your time bank. How much currency, how much time do you even have left to give out, to spend? I feel like there's this really sad reality that we are always living rushed and in a hurry, just saying to ourselves, just one more night, honey, just one more night will I have to do this, just one more weekend, just let me get caught up, just one more project. But the crazy thing is, as an entrepreneur, until you realize you only have a bank of time, a certain amount of hours, and you choose how you spend that, there will always be a just one more thing, just one more project, just one more weekend. Listen, I know this all too well. I remember this was, again, in the first 6 months of officially starting my business. I was working all the time. I was on my email all the time. I just was not present with my husband at all. And I was sitting there working one day, and he comes home and he said, "Hey, I have a gift for you." And I was like, "You do? That's crazy." And he brought out this box. It was a brown cardboard box that I kept all my craft supplies in. So I normally had like markers and paper and just, you know what I mean, a craft box. And so it comes out with my craft box. So I thought he was joking. Why does he have my craft box? And I was like, "Oh, is it a puppy?" And I was like, "No." But he hands me this box, and I open it up, and there's this, and I pull out this beautiful Madewell leather bag. You know the one I'm talking about? It's like all the rage. So I have this beautiful leather Madewell bag. I just start sobbing, like ugly crying, like, "I'm such a bad wife. And you bought me this present." I was like, it felt so terrible because I was working these crazy hours. Why was he buying me gifts? And I realized that if I don't stop now, if I don't realize I have a time bank, this will never get better. We've all been there. Just one more project, just one more weekend, just one more night. So I want to ask you, have you ever sat down and given yourself a bank of time? I want you to think about time like currency. Like we've got to spend it, and we can only spend what we have. So instead of thinking about my ideal day from start to finish looks this way, I want you to think about it more so in hours. How many hours do you want to commit to working every day, every week, every month? What is your time bank? And then we need to ask ourselves, how much time do the activities I'm doing actually take? How much time does that take? So if I need to email, if I need to do social media or marketing, if I need to actually produce my flowers or paint my painting, how much time did those tasks take me? And then we want to look at our bank and how much we're trying to do and see why those two things aren't meshing. You'll realize really quickly why you always feel behind when you start evaluating my time bank. Just doesn't have any currency left. Last but not least, emails. Do you know that emails actually started as inner office memos? Remember back in the old days, many of us probably don't remember this, but they would have the person that delivered memos within the office, and they would carry them like on a little, I think of like a little wire tray, and it has sheets of papers like office memos. And so there was somebody that went around, the mailman in the office, and gave out all of the mail. So these were like, we got mail, actual pieces of paper to deliver notes throughout the day. So email started as a way to replace that. It was a memo system inside an office. So instead of having paper memos, now we had emails. And so you would get a few of those a day, just like you used to get with the paper mail in our office. But now email is taking on this huge new meaning. We get emails for everything. Sales, promotions, emails. Now we communicate via email. And it was never meant to be that way. It was supposed to be a memo to everyone in the office getting the same notes, not a way to have a conversation via email. I'm a big, big fan of not having email back and forth, never having open-ended email, in the sense of just leaving it open, inviting that in. If you feel like you have a conversation that's ongoing on your email with a client or a colleague or something, this is a great opportunity to pick up that phone, to get on a phone call. I'm a big, big advocate for decreasing the amount of email that we get every day. So how can you look at your emails and do it more efficiently? Can you schedule a phone call? For those planners out there, email is a huge part of your day. I totally understand that. Or anyone in the wedding industry that's working out logistics. So I've found and always encourage one way to do that is to schedule monthly or weekly phone calls with your client. Some other great email tips that I have. First, I leave in my inbox any email that I know I need to get back to. So I know if it's in my inbox that I need to return it. If I have finished that email, if whatever needed to be done is done, I move that email into a folder. I archive it or I delete it. Yes, actually delete. If it's done, if it's over with. But if I need a record of it, or if it's for a client, I move it over into a folder. I have my folders designated by years, so 2014, 15, 16, 17, and then I have subfolders within those. So I might have a speaking folder with all my different speaking events, a client folder with all those, online courses, all that. So I have that all for 2017, and then I'll have them for 2018. So I move it out of my inbox. So that way I know anything in my inbox I need to get back to. Another great thing is I call it the 2-minute rule. So if you can't answer an email in 2 minutes or less, I am a big fan of replying back, I received your email. I got it. It's going to take me a little bit to get back to you. You will hear from me again soon. 2 things there. The 2-minute rule is great because it communicates, I got you, I heard you, but I don't have time yet to answer this, or I don't have the answer yet. So a lot of times with email, or don't you hate those emails where they email you again to follow up before you got back to them? The worst. It just makes you feel stressed all the time. So I love communicating back to them. I heard you, I got your email. Second, I leave an open-ended deadline. I say, you'll hear from me soon. I'll get back to you in the next week or so. I never say I'll get back to you tomorrow, or I'll get back to you Friday, whatever it is. I'm very careful about that because I want to be good on my word as much as possible. Not that we're going to be perfect, but I want to be good on my word. And again, we just need to set an expectation with our client, not necessarily give them a deadline. That's not what they're looking for. They're looking for an expectation. So when I say tomorrow, we never know what tomorrow is going to bring. So I'm a big fan of living in grace, giving yourself extra time, and knowing and communicating expectations. Some other great email tips that I have is I block time for email. I never start my day with email because I don't want somebody else to dictate my day. I've already established my 3 most important things I want to accomplish. I do those in the morning, and then I start my email later. So I check email twice a day, right before lunch, right before the end of the day, and I block time to do this. Usually about 30 to 45 minutes is blocked for emails. And so that's how I do what I call administrative email. Now, many of you actually do your work on email. You might be talking to vendors or talking to clients, and it's all done on email. My work's very different. I record video, I train, I can write things outside, so it looks very different. For those of you that do your work on email, I totally get that. I still recommend you having admin email time where you're working just on administrative emails, responding to inquiries, sending out proposals, that type of thing. And then batching together emails for particular events or projects or clients. And so that way, instead of answering an email about Susan's event and Julie's event and then Katie's event and switching, I recommend to you doing everything for Julie all at one time. So phone calls for Julie, emails for Julie, proposals for Julie, all at one time. This is called task batching. So doing that all together. This is really going to make your time feel a lot more efficient if you're working on similar projects all at the same time. So the biggest key here in creating systems that allow you to have freedom is first just writing down what's included and what's not included in my price. Creating that streamlined process from start to finish and knowing step by step how you book a client and then how you complete your work. From there, understanding that we have a time bank. Just like we have a savings account, our time bank only includes certain things. And so we have to really understand, how am I spending my time? And do I even have any currency left? And then last, just managing the task load that is emails. And understanding if we can really dictate our time on email, if we can make it more efficient, if we could pick up the phone and solve something that instead of eliminate 10 back and forth emails, how can we get more efficient with our time? Creating a profitable, sustainable, life-enriching business really takes just a few simple but not easy steps. And I would love to continue talking to you more about that. We have video 3 coming next, all about finance.